What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of A Playmaker's View. I'm your host, as always, Jayme. Appreciate you guys joining me. As you guys can see, I've got a brand new setup here. I'm at school finally. I'm going to be here for about 3 months, so all the content that I have is going to be coming from here for a little bit. Hope you guys enjoy this setup. Feel free to give me some suggestions on how to move things around and all that good stuff. But without further ado, today's episode is featuring Luke Hertzler. Luke is a good friend of mine from high school. Played football and baseball at Parkway North, and he's now playing football at Missouri S&T. So we're going to dive into his story, all that good stuff. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. All right, guys, so like I said, I have Luke Hertzler joining me today. First off, I want Luke to just kind of describe himself and tell you guys who he is and all that good stuff. So go ahead and get yourself started, Luke. Tell the viewers who you are and what you're up to.
Hey guys, my name is Luke Hertzler. I am a quarterback at Missouri S&T in Rolla. So I played football in high school at Parkway North High School, and I went to school with Jayme. And I'm in my senior year, and I got one more semester until I start my MBA program.
All right, so I want to dive into you being a quarterback. I talked to you a little bit about this, but being the quarterback is kind of like being the pilot of a plane, or the catcher of a baseball team. So what does being the quarterback of a football team mean to you? How does that add a little bit of pressure for you, or does you thrive on being the quarterback?
So I've been playing quarterback since 5th grade. I think being a quarterback, what it means to me is like you're the leader of the team, and I mean you're not the only leader, but you're someone that a lot of people look to. So when I think of being a quarterback, I think of being consistent, whether it's in my play or in my emotion or how I talk to different teammates. Like you can't get too high, you can't get too low. Like if I throw a pick, I keep my head up, because if I'm down, like guys are looking to me and they're just going to be like, well, if he's down, I'm going to be down. So yeah, for sure, just being like consistent, being that leader, because there's been you'll see a lot of teams who just don't have a leader at the quarterback position, and they generally struggle because he's the guy who's commanding the offense. So if he's being consistent with how he attacks the game and he's in attack mode, then generally the rest of the offense will respond to that.
Yeah, you're definitely kind of like a coach out there. Now, does this add pressure for you? What kind of things do you do coming into it, like during the off season, or just like the week before a game? Do you watch film? Do that kind of stuff? What does your day in and day out kind of look like, just to prepare to be that quarterback and that leader on the team?
Yeah, I mean, going into the pressure part of it, I think there's definitely some pressure that comes with quarterback. You're touching the ball every single play. I mean, no matter the outcome of a play, good or bad, you're generally, in there with the blame. And if things do go bad, it's a lot of it like, and the quarterback got sacked, quarterback threw a pick, things like that. So, I mean, there's definitely pressure to it, but I mean, once you get out on the field, especially for me, like I'm just trying to do my best and have fun and, enjoy football. Because if you make football this, I have to be perfect every single time, you're going to be uptight. You're not going to be able to play loose, and just have to be able to trust your training over the years. And so there's some pressure to it, but I wouldn't want to play any other position. I love being in control and just being able to put the ball in different guys' hands and let them make plays and be a part of it. As far as preparation into the week, so we'll do a lot of film study in our meetings before practice. So we'll do like an hour meeting, and then we'll go right into practice. And then so there we'll probably start out with going over like their base coverages, things like that, and then what do they do on first down, and then the next day what are they doing on second down, then how does third down look the next day. Just breaking them down, and then we'll put different installs for specific plays against a certain team. So.
Mm-hmm. So is it different? Playing in high school is obviously a lot different from playing at a Division II level in college. But how do you think being at Parkway North? I mean, we had a pretty good program when you were there, almost won state. So how did that prepare you for the next level?
I think the experience that I had in high school like the camaraderie that we had with all the guys there was a big thing of just like it's one big family. Like we're all brothers. So especially just finding time to like go have fun with each other, like outside of football was a big thing of like creating different relationships across the team. And I mean, Coach Bunt was a huge influence on my life and all the other coaches there. Just being working hard and, representing what you're wearing on your chest really well is what I brought here of just, I got to work hard, not only for my name, but for, my teammates around me and for the school. So.
Yeah, so next thing I want to talk to you about, I mean, I know it's a tough topic, but you've dealt with quite a few injuries in your past, and this is a good thing. Like, I really do want to talk to you about this because a lot of people go through those injuries, and I know you've done really well with those injuries, just trying to get back on the field. So first off, I want you to explain your experience with it, and then we can get into kind of some tips and advice for people who are going through those injuries. So can you just give me, what was it like to be injured and getting back mentally and physically, all that stuff?
Yeah. I mean, if you're playing sports, like injury is definitely like on the table. And I'm currently going through my second ACL meniscus reconstruction. So the first one, I tore it the second game into my junior year of high school and recovered from that. And then I just tore it a couple months ago playing basketball with my brother. And it's kind of crazy. Being injured puts a lot of stuff in perspective. So I think the first time I definitely grew a lot in my faith because I put a lot of my value in playing football and what people thought of me and just how I played on the football field. And within a split second, I was out for 6 to 9 months with no football. And it's like, football was not my identity. And that's what I learned. Like, my identity is in Jesus Christ and what he believes and what he thinks of me. So learning that the first time, going through the injury was really helpful because that's kind of guided me through my senior year of high school and then in college ball, and then now right into my next injury. And so, I mean, with this injury, I already know what to expect. I've been through the whole process before, but being able to, learn the lessons of perseverance and you got to work hard to get back to where you want to be is the best beneficial for me going through it the second time and knowing that, my identity is not tied up in football. It's tied up in, what God thinks of me.
Yeah, I mean, that's super important. I think a lot of people, it's more than just sports. Obviously, you want to win and get better every day. But just for those people who are going through those injuries, you talked about the perseverance. Is there any other piece of advice you have for people? Just any sort of injury in sports, because I know that's my biggest fear is getting hurt. Like, how am I supposed to come back from it? Especially, you're going into your senior year and your time is dwindling. So how, from a player perspective, how do you go about just getting back onto the field and still being successful?
Yeah. So the first time I tore it, I was cleared physically, but the mental side was still lacking in that sense, which is, very, very typical for any major surgery or any injury of that sort. So first you gotta do the work to get healthy, but then understand that the work that you put in to get healthy was worth it, and that you've made that part of your body stronger and healthy again. So you have to go out and test the boundaries on it and realize that, hey, when I make a cut, my knee's not going to buckle like it did when I tore it, or when I, tackle somebody, or when I throw a pitch like my shoulder, it's fine. I've done the work to get back. So a big thing is pushing the limits on it, because the mental barriers sometimes are harder to get past than the physical barriers. And yeah, that's the biggest thing. And then also just surrounding yourself with, people who are going to come alongside you and support you and push you. My parents were huge in that. All my teammates and friends in high school and then now have been super encouraging and have also pushed me when I'm feeling down or I don't want to do, my exercises to get healthy.
Yeah. So on a more positive side, I know that was kind of a tough topic, but I want to ask you, throughout your whole career, it can be in high school or even, a little league, but Have you had a specific moment that you've really enjoyed being a part of a team, a certain game, anything like that?
Yeah, so thinking through this question, I've got a few team moments and then like one or two personal moments. And I think the team moments are mean the most to me just because like we did it together. Like I in high school, I played with those guys since fifth grade, so we had worked hard. We played football a long time, and we'd always dreamed about winning state in high school. But so our senior year, we made it to the semifinals and lost to Harrisonville, and that was tough. But that was probably the one of the coolest team moments for sure, just because like we had a really good season and it was a cool way to end our careers together. Um, so that was cool. And then in college, we actually went to a bowl game, not this past season, but the season before, and ended up winning it. And it was cool just to be a part of that and be a part of a winning team and win a big game, come back with a ring. That was a cool experience. And then as far as the personal moments, so I tore my ACL in high school. I got surgery October 15th, and then exactly a year later, it was senior night at home, and I had a career day. I was like 17 for 20, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, and I was like broke multiple records that night from the school. Now they have been broken because they've turned into a spread team, but that was one of the coolest moments personally. And then this past year, I threw my first touchdown pass to my roommate, and that was kind of a cool moment of being able to say that I've thrown a touchdown pass in college and be able to um, do it with one of my favorite guys. So that was cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I kind of remember that game too because we were all rooting for you to get back. The last thing I want to talk to you about is kind of your future plans. I know we talked about you got yourself a little business now, so I want you to talk about that for the viewers. Obviously, they can support you in that way. But other than football, what are some things in the future? This is your senior year, so you're going into the real world here soon. So what are your plans for the next year?
Yeah. So football wise, I still have 2 years of eligibility. So they ended up moving our season to the spring. But with my knee, I'm not going to be able to play this year. So there might be an opportunity for me to get a year back. So I still have 2 years left. And I mean, the biggest thing looking forward into the future is being able to enjoy football and play at a high level and enjoy doing it with the guys around me because I mean, this is the last 2 years I'll be in the locker room of this sort and in this environment of competition. I'm a super competitive guy, so I mean, just going out enjoying practice and having fun because since my identity has changed with how well I do on the football field doesn't really affect me as a person. Just going out there and having fun, and I mean, if I play bad or I play good, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm just trying to have a good time and um, career wise, so I just started a financial coaching business. So I'm encouraging and motivating and educating young people on personal finance. There's a lot of the things that you were supposed to learn in high school and you might have, but I don't remember anything from my personal finance class. So being able to do one-on-one coaching, I have a one-on-one monthly subscription or a 6-month program that I walk through with people, and then also have a crash course where we go through a really easy read book and just helping them understand, how does debt work? How do you budget your money? And then how do you get to a place where you can start saving and investing for your future and you can provide for your family in that way? And I mean, as a young person, you haven't handled, like a $40,000 salary before. So like, what are the tips and tricks to doing that? And I help people walk through that, help them, understand how they can start winning with money. And I mean, a lot of people now get, wrapped up in credit card debt and just start spending money everywhere and wondering where it went. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing.
Cool. Yeah, no, so I'm going to drop all your stuff below if you guys want to get some help from Luke. I mean, he's doing a great job with that. So you guys can direct message him. I'll put his email down below. But if there's any other final thoughts, I want you to give one other piece of advice for the viewers, and then we can kind of conclude things. But I really do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. I mean, one piece of advice is find your identity in something that is not changing. So I found my value and my identity in Christ, and he's been the same, in the past. He's been the same today, and he'll be the same in the future. I mean, football's got an end to it. Your job, if you find security in your job, I mean, what if you get fired? And then what happens? If you're dating a girl or a boy, like, they might leave you. So where's your security in that? And I mean, friends come and go. So find your security and identity in something that is solid, that has a great foundation, because that will help you in everything that you do and give you a perspective in life that is fulfilling and brings peace and joy. So.
For sure. I appreciate you coming on. It's a great message. I mean, I think it's really important. Some of us get carried away in the winning in life and stuff, and sometimes you just got to find ways to, figure out how to get past those losses that you do have, because it does happen to everyone, and it's life. So, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. I hope your knee gets better soon, and you can have 2 more years to succeed over there. Like I said, guys, follow Luke on his new business. I'm going to drop all his stuff below, so direct message him, get some good advice. And I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of A Playmaker's View. We'll be back with you guys next week for another episode.